The *US Vanguard drifted silently through space as the alien fleet disappeared into the distance, their sleek ships vanishing like shadows against the stars. The crew watched in silence, their emotions a mix of relief and awe. They had survived humanity's first encounter with an intelligent alien species, a moment that would shape history forever. Commander Alex Carter stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the empty void where the Zorathian fleet had been moments before. He felt a strange mixture of pride and humility. Humanity had stumbled into this meeting blindly, making mistakes that could have ended in disaster. Yet, somehow, they had walked away with a second chance. It was a lesson he knew Earth couldn't afford to forget. Laura Bennett sat at her station, replaying the recording she had gathered during her time aboard the Zorathian ship. She listened to Vern's melodic tones, now partially translated thanks to their collaboration. The aliens' words carried depth and meaning far beyond simple communication. They spoke of unity, balance, and the interconnectedness of all life. They see themselves as part of something bigger, Laura murmured to herself. Not just individuals, but pieces of a whole. Jason Cole joined her, holding a datapad filled with notes on Zorathian technology. Their understanding of quantum mechanics is incredible, he said, his voice tinged with excitement. If we can apply even a fraction of what they've shown us, it could change everything. Energy production, space travel, medicine. But we have to be careful, Alex interjected, overhearing their conversation. He stepped closer, his expression serious. This isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's about earning trust. If we misuse what they've shared, we risk losing more than an alliance. We risk losing their respect. Jason nodded reluctantly. You're right. We need to approach this carefully. Maybe start by sharing what we've learned with Earth's scientific community, but under strict guidelines. As the ship prepared for its journey back home, Lieutenant Daniel Hayes remained on edge. Though the immediate threat had passed, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Zorathians were watching them, even now. What if they're testing us? He asked during a quiet moment on the bridge. What if this whole thing was just an experiment? It's possible, Alex admitted. But whether it was or not, we've proven we're capable of learning. That's what matters. Over the next several days, the crew worked to document every detail of their encounter. Laura wrote reports on the Zorathians' language and culture, while Jason compiled technical analyses of their technology. Even Daniel contributed, recording observations about their defensive strategies and behavior. Every piece of information was meticulously stored, ready to be shared with Earth's leaders upon their return. When the Vanguard finally approached Earth's orbit, the crew gathered on the bridge one last time. Through the viewport, they saw their home planet, a fragile blue sphere floating in the vastness of space. For many, it was a reminder of how small humanity truly was in the grand scheme of things. Alex addressed his team, his voice steady but filled with emotion. What we've experienced out there changes everything. We're not alone in the universe anymore. And while that's exciting, it also comes with responsibility. Our actions will define how humanity is seen by others, not just the Zorathians, but any species we might meet in the future. The crew nodded solemnly, each member lost in their own thoughts. They had faced fear, mistrust, and uncertainty, and emerged stronger for it. As the Vanguard descended toward Earth, they knew their mission wasn't over. It was only the beginning. Humanity's place in the cosmos had shifted. The question now was whether they would rise to the challenge, or falter under the weight of their newfound role. In the vast emptiness of space, the human warship *US Vanguard drifted silently among the stars. Commander Alex Carter stood on the bridge, his sharp eyes scanning the endless expanse outside the large windows. The crew worked quietly around him, their movements precise and focused. Each member knew the importance of their mission: to explore uncharted regions of space and uncover anything unusual. It was a task that required patience, discipline, and courage. Laura Bennett, the ship's communications officer, sat at her station with headphones resting lightly on her ears. She had been monitoring deep space transmissions for hours, sifting through static and faint signals. Most of what she heard was meaningless noise, random bursts of energy or echoes from distant stars. But something caught her attention this time. A signal, faint but distinct, pulsed rhythmically in the background. It wasn't natural. Someone, or something, was sending it. Laura leaned forward, adjusting the dials on her console to isolate the signal. Her heart began to race as she realized it wasn't just random interference. The pattern was deliberate, almost like a code. "Commander," she called out, her voice steady but tinged with excitement. "I found something." Alex turned away from the viewport and walked over to her station. He placed a hand on the back of her chair, leaning in to look at her screen. "What is it?" he asked, his tone calm but curious. "It's coming from a nearby star system," Laura replied, pointing to a blinking dot on her monitor. "It's not random static. This is structured. Repeating patterns, consistent intervals. Someone's trying to communicate." The room grew quiet as the rest of the crew stopped what they were doing to listen. Jason Cole, the science officer, stepped closer, his brow furrowed in thought. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Some kind of pulsar or stellar activity? Laura shook her head. "No, I've cross-referenced it with all known natural signals. This isn't one of them. It's artificial." Alex straightened up, his mind racing. If Laura was right, and he had no reason to doubt her, then this could be humanity's first contact with an intelligent alien species. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. For centuries, humans had wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, standing on the brink of discovery, the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on him. "Plot a course to the source," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "But proceed with caution. We don't know what, or who, we're dealing with." The helmsman nodded and began inputting coordinates into the navigation system. The Vanguard hummed softly as its engines powered up, preparing for the journey ahead. Laura continued to analyze the signal, trying to decipher its meaning. So far, it remained a mystery, but she could feel her pulse quicken with every passing second. Whatever was waiting for them, it was unlike anything humanity had encountered before. As the ship moved through the void, the crew prepared themselves for the unknown. Weapons systems were checked, shields calibrated, and protocols reviewed. No one spoke much. The tension in the air was palpable. They were explorers, yes, but they were also soldiers, trained to face danger. And though hope flickered in their hearts, so did fear. Hours passed as the Vanguard drew closer to the signal's origin. Finally, the star system came into view, a swirling mass of gas and debris surrounding a dying sun. But what caught everyone's attention was the sight of countless ships, clustered together in perfect formation. Their designs were sleek and unfamiliar, glowing faintly against the dark backdrop of space. "They're here," Alex murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. He stared at the alien fleet, his mind racing with questions. Who were they? Why had they sent the signal? And most importantly, what did they want? For now, there were no answers, only silence and the promise of discovery. The Vanguard slowed as it approached the edge of the star system, its crew tense and alert. Through the viewport, the alien fleet loomed larger with every passing moment. The ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen, smooth, curved surfaces that shimmered faintly, almost alive in appearance. Some vessels glowed softly, while others seemed to absorb the light around them. It was both beautiful and unsettling. Commander Alex Carter stood at the center of the bridge, his hands clasped tightly behind his back. His eyes never left the view outside. "Status report," he said, his voice steady but firm. "All systems are functioning within normal parameters," replied Lieutenant Daniel Hayes, the head of security. He glanced at his console before adding, "Weapons are online, shields at maximum capacity." Alex nodded but didn't respond immediately. His mind was racing. The alien fleet showed no signs of aggression so far, but that didn't mean they weren't dangerous. For all he knew, these beings could be studying the Vanguard deciding whether to attack or ignore them. He turned to Laura Bennett, who was still monitoring the mysterious signal. Anything new on the transmission? She shook her head, frustration evident on her face. Nothing clear yet. It's still repeating, but I can't make sense of it. Whoever, or whatever, they are, their language is completely foreign to us. Jason Cole, the science officer, leaned over Laura's shoulder, examining her data. Maybe it's not even meant for us, he suggested. Could be some kind of internal communication. Or a warning, Daniel muttered under his breath. A few crew members nearby exchanged uneasy glances, but no one dared to speak up. Alex ignored the comment and focused on the task at hand. We need to show we're here peacefully, he said. Laura, prepare a standard greeting message. Use simple visuals, mathematical patterns, basic shapes, anything universal. Yes, sir, Laura replied, quickly typing commands into her console. Within moments, a series of symbols appeared on the main view screen. Circles, triangles, and numerical sequences designed to convey intelligence and non-hostility. As the message transmitted, the crew waited anxiously for a response. Minutes ticked by, each one feeling longer than the last. Finally, something happened. One of the alien ships detached itself from the fleet and began moving toward the Vanguard. Its movements were slow and deliberate, almost ceremonial. The tension on the bridge grew thicker. They're responding, Jason said, pointing to his scanner. No weapons detected. Yet. That doesn't mean they're friendly, Daniel countered sharply. We should raise shields just in case. Alex hesitated. Raising shields might be seen as an act of hostility, especially since the aliens hadn't shown any aggressive behavior. On the other hand, caution was essential when dealing with the unknown. After a brief pause, he made his decision. Raise shields, but keep weapons offline. Let's not provoke them. The order was carried out swiftly. Outside, the alien ship continued its approach until it was close enough for the crew to see details they hadn't noticed before. Strange markings covered its surface, glowing faintly in hues of blue and green. Then, without warning, a bright flash erupted from the vessel. For a split second, panic surged through the bridge. It's firing. Someone shouted. No, wait, Laura cried, staring intently at her console. It's not a weapon. It's projecting something. A holographic image materialized on the Vanguard's view screen. It depicted a towering figure with elongated limbs and large luminous eyes. Its presence was both mesmerizing and intimidating. The being spoke, though its words came out as a series of melodic tones and clicks. Laura immediately activated the translator program she'd been working on, hoping it would decipher the message. After several agonizing seconds, fragments of meaning began to emerge. Emissary, Zorathian Collective. The translation was incomplete, but enough to understand the being's purpose. This was Kale, a representative of the alien fleet. Well, Alex said quietly, breaking the silence, looks like we got our first contact. But as he gazed at the hologram, he couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything, for better or worse. The holographic image of Kale remained on the view screen, its luminous eyes seemed to look directly at the crew of the Vanguard. The alien's voice continued in melodic tones, punctuated by clicks and hums. Laura Bennett worked furiously at her station, fine-tuning the translator program to make sense of the message. Every few seconds, fragments of meaning appeared on her screen, piecing together a rough understanding of what Kale was saying. Greetings from Zorathian Collective. The translation read, Purpose unknown. Clarification required. Commander Alex Carter stepped closer to the view screen, his expression calm but cautious. Laura, he said quietly, can we send a response? "I think so," she replied, her fingers flying across the console. "I'll use simple phrases and visuals. They seem to respond well to patterns." With a nod, Alex turned back to the alien emissary. "Kale," he began, speaking slowly and clearly, "we are humans. We come in peace. Our purpose is exploration." The moment the words left his mouth, Laura's program translated them into a series of symbols and mathematical patterns, which were displayed alongside Alex's message. For several long seconds, there was no reaction. Then, Kale tilted its head slightly, as if considering their words. The alien responded again, and this time, the translator captured more of the meaning. Exploration. Acknowledged. The text read. Intention questioned. Clarification needed. Alex frowned, glancing at Laura. "What does that mean? Are they asking why we're here?" "It's possible," Jason Cole chimed in, leaning over Laura's shoulder. "They might not understand our motives, or maybe they think we're lying. They could also be testing us," Lieutenant Daniel Hayes added, his hand resting on the weapon controls. His tone was skeptical, almost distrustful. "We should be ready for anything." Alex ignored the tension in the room and focused on the task at hand. "Kale," he said, addressing the hologram once more, "we seek knowledge. We wish to learn about you and your people. No harm is intended." This time, the response came faster. Kale raised one elongated arm, pointing toward the alien fleet behind it. "Collective observes, evaluates, decision pending." "What decision?" Alex asked aloud, though he knew Kale wouldn't answer directly. He turned to his crew. "They're deciding something. Whether to trust us, maybe. Or whether to destroy us," Daniel muttered under his breath. His hand tightened around the weapon controls, but Alex shot him a sharp look. "We're not jumping to conclusions," Alex said firmly. "Stay focused. Laura, keep working on the translation. Jason, monitor their ships. I want to know if they make any sudden moves." "Yes, sir," both officers replied in unison. As the moments passed, the bridge grew quieter. The crew watched the alien fleet nervously, waiting for some sign of what Kale meant by decision pending. Some of the smaller vessels began shifting positions, forming a loose perimeter around the Vanguard. It wasn't overtly threatening, but it wasn't exactly welcoming either. Finally, Kale spoke again. This time, the message was clearer. Request demonstration. Proof of intent. What kind of demonstration? Alex wondered aloud. He looked at Laura, who shrugged helplessly. "It might mean they want us to show we're peaceful," Jason suggested. "Maybe lower our shields or turn off our weapons." "That's too risky," Daniel snapped. "If they wanted to attack, now would be the perfect time." "Noted," Alex said sharply, silencing the argument before it escalated. He took a deep breath, weighing his options. Lowering their defenses could be seen as a gesture of goodwill or as a fatal mistake, but doing nothing might make them appear hostile. "Laura," he said after a moment, "send another message. Tell them we're willing to cooperate, but we need assurances of safety." She nodded and quickly typed out the response. As the message transmitted, Kale paused, its glowing eyes flickering faintly. Then, with a final melodic tone, the hologram vanished, leaving the screen blank. For a moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of the ship's systems. Outside, the alien fleet remained still, watching silently. "Well," Alex said finally, breaking the silence, "that went better than expected." "Better?" Daniel exclaimed incredulously. "We barely understood half of what they said. And now they're just staring at us." "Staring isn't attacking," Alex replied calmly. "Let's take this one step at a time. Laura, keep analyzing their language. Jason, stay on top of their movements. And Daniel, try to relax. We're still alive, which means we've got a chance." As the crew returned to their tasks, Alex allowed himself a small sigh of relief. First contact had been made. But the real challenge lay ahead. Whatever the Zorathians wanted, humanity was now part of their equation, and Alex knew mistakes could be costly. The silence on the bridge of the US Vanguard was deafening. The alien fleet remained motionless, their ships glowing faintly against the dark expanse of space. Commander Alex Carter stood near the center of the room, his eyes fixed on the view screen where Cal's hologram had disappeared moments ago. The message about proof of intent lingered in his mind like an unanswered question. "What do you think they want from us?" Laura Bennett asked, breaking the quiet. Her voice was soft, but carried a note of unease. She stared at her console, still trying to refine the translation program, but the alien language was proving difficult to fully decode. "I don't know," Alex admitted, "but whatever it is, we need to figure it out quickly." He glanced at Lieutenant Daniel Hayes, who was standing near the weapons controls. Daniel's posture was rigid, his hand hovering close to the trigger. Alex could see the tension in his face. "Stand down, Lieutenant. We're not firing unless fired upon." Daniel clenched his jaw but didn't argue. Instead, he muttered under his breath, "They've got us surrounded. If this goes south, we won't have much time to react." Alex ignored him and turned to Jason Cole, the science officer. "Jason, any updates on their movements?" "They haven't made any aggressive moves," Jason replied, studying his scanner. "But some of their smaller ships are shifting positions. It feels calculated, like they're setting up something." "Setting up what?" Laura asked nervously. "That's what worries me," Alex said. He took a step closer to the viewport, squinting as he studied the alien vessels. Their sleek, organic design seemed almost alive, pulsating with faint light. "We need to show them we mean no harm without leaving ourselves vulnerable." Before anyone could respond, one of the alien ships suddenly emitted a bright flash. It wasn't aimed directly at the Vanguard but the burst of energy sent alarms blaring across the bridge. The crew scrambled to their stations, panic rippling through the room. "What was that?" Alex demanded, his voice rising slightly. "It wasn't a direct hit," Jason reported quickly. "More like a warning shot. They're testing us." "Testing us for what?" Daniel snapped, his fingers twitching over the weapon controls. "If they wanted to scare us, they've done a good job. Hold your position," Alex ordered sharply. "Don't give them a reason to escalate." But the situation grew worse. Another flash erupted from the same alien ship, this time closer to the Vanguard. The blast shook the ship slightly, causing lights on the bridge to flicker. A few crew members gasped, and Laura gripped the edge of her console tightly. "They're pushing us," Daniel growled. "If we don't respond, they'll think we're weak." "He's right," Jason added reluctantly. "We can't just sit here and take it." Alex hesitated, torn between caution and the need to defend his crew. Finally, he gave a reluctant nod. "Fine. Fire a countermeasure, not at their ships, but near them. Let them know we're not afraid to fight back." Daniel wasted no time. With a quick press of a button, the Vanguard launched a small projectile that exploded harmlessly in space, creating a burst of light and energy. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't defenseless. For a moment, there was silence. Then the alien fleet reacted. Several ships moved into formation around the Vanguard, surrounding it completely. Glowing energy fields enveloped the human warship, cutting off its ability to maneuver or escape. "They've trapped us," Laura cried, her voice trembling. Alex felt a sinking feeling in his chest. What had started as an attempt at peaceful communication had spiraled into conflict, and it was entirely possible they had only themselves to blame. "Everyone, stay calm," he said, though his own voice betrayed a hint of doubt. "We'll find a way out of this." But deep down, he couldn't shake the fear that humanity's first encounter with an alien species might end in disaster. The US Vanguard was trapped, encased in a shimmering energy field that pulsed faintly with an otherworldly glow. The alien fleet surrounded them completely, their ships hovering silently like predators circling prey. Inside the bridge, the crew worked frantically to assess the situation, but the tension was palpable. Every face showed signs of fear or frustration, and the air felt heavy with regret. Commander Alex Carter clenched his fists as he stared at the viewport. "Status report," he barked, his voice tight with controlled anger. Jason Cole, the science officer, scanned his console. "The energy field is stable, but it's draining our power systems. Shields are holding, for now. But if this keeps up, we'll be completely immobilized." "Can we break through it?" Alex asked, turning toward Lieutenant Daniel Hayes. Daniel shook his head grimly. "Not without risking serious damage to the ship. Their technology is far beyond ours. If we try to force our way out, they'll crush us." Laura Bennett sat at her station, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to re-establish communication with the aliens. "I'm sending another message," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to explain that firing back was a mistake. They have to understand we didn't mean to provoke them." "They probably don't care about explanations," Daniel muttered bitterly. "They've got us right where they want us." Alex shot him a sharp look. "Enough. Panicking won't help us. Laura, keep trying to talk to them. Jason, monitor their movements closely. And Daniel, stay ready, but don't act unless I give the order." "Yes, sir," the three officers replied in unison, though their expressions remained strained. Minutes passed, each one feeling longer than the last. The energy field around the Vanguard grew brighter, humming softly as it sapped more of the ship's resources. Alarms blared intermittently, warning of decreasing power levels. On the main view screen, Cal's holographic form reappeared, its luminous eyes glowing colder than before. "Humans. Actions noted. The translation read, aggression unacceptable. Consequences imminent." Alex swallowed hard. The message was clear. Humanity had crossed a line, and the Zorethians were not forgiving. He stepped closer to the view screen, his voice steady despite the mounting pressure. "Cal, listen to me. Firing back was a misunderstanding. We thought your blast was an attack. We're here peacefully, just as we said before." Cal tilted its head slightly, as if considering his words. Then, without warning, the energy field tightened around the Vanguard. Lights flickered across the bridge, and several consoles sparked violently. A few crew members stumbled as the ship shuddered under the strain. "They're retaliating," Jason reported urgently. "If this continues, we'll lose life support within minutes." "We can't let that happen," Alex said firmly. He turned to Laura. "Send everything we've got. Diagrams, visuals, anything that shows we're sorry. Make them see we didn't come here to fight." Laura nodded and quickly assembled a new message. Using simple images and symbols, she conveyed remorse for the earlier confrontation, emphasizing humanity's desire for peace. As the transmission went out, the crew held their breath, waiting for a response. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the energy field dimmed slightly, and Cal spoke again. Intent acknowledged, reparations required. "What does that mean?" Alex asked, glancing at Laura. "It's asking for something in return," she replied. "Maybe a gesture to prove we're sincere." Alex hesitated, then made a decision. "Disable our weapons systems. Show them we're willing to stand down completely." "Are you sure about this?" Daniel asked, his tone skeptical. "If they wanted to destroy us, this would be the perfect opportunity." "I'm sure," Alex said firmly. "Do it." As the Vanguard's weapons powered down, the energy field around the ship began to fade. The alien fleet slowly withdrew, creating distance between themselves and the human warship. Cal's hologram lingered for a moment longer before vanishing entirely. The bridge fell silent as the crew absorbed what had just happened. They had been given a second chance, but at a cost. Alex exhaled deeply, his shoulders sagging with relief and guilt. "Well," he said finally, "we survived. But next time, we'll do better." The *US Vanguard floated silently in space, its crew shaken but alive. The alien fleet had withdrawn, leaving the human warship stranded and damaged. Inside the briefing room, Commander Alex Carter sat at the head of the table, his face etched with exhaustion and regret. Around him, his senior officers, Laura Bennett, Jason Cole, and Lieutenant Daniel Hayes, looked equally drained. The weight of what had just happened hung over them like a storm cloud. "We screwed up," Alex said finally, breaking the silence. His voice was low but carried a tone of frustration. "We fired first without understanding their intentions. That's not how first contact is supposed to go." "It wasn't entirely our fault," Daniel argued, leaning forward in his seat. "They fired at us too. How were we supposed to know it was just a warning?" "Because that's what we should have assumed," Alex snapped, slamming his hand on the table. The sharp sound made everyone flinch. He took a deep breath to steady himself before continuing. "We're explorers, not soldiers. Our job is to seek peace, not jump to violence. And now we've made humanity look reckless and untrustworthy." Laura shifted uncomfortably in her chair. "Maybe it's not too late to fix this," she suggested softly. Cale said something about reparations. "If we can figure out what they want from us, we might still salvage this situation." Jason nodded in agreement. "She's right. They didn't destroy us when they had the chance. That has to mean something. Maybe they're giving us a chance to prove ourselves." Alex leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. "You're probably right, but proving ourselves won't be easy. We need to show them we're willing to cooperate, not just with words, but with actions." "What kind of actions?" Daniel asked skeptically. "We don't even know what they consider valuable. For all we know, they could ask for something impossible." "We'll deal with that when it comes," Alex replied firmly. "For now, let's focus on repairing the ship and preparing another message. Laura, work on something clear and sincere. Something that shows we're truly sorry." "I'll do my best," Laura said, though her voice betrayed her uncertainty. As the meeting ended, the crew dispersed to their tasks. Alex remained in the briefing room, staring at the empty chairs around him. He replayed the events of the past few hours in his mind, each decision weighing heavily on his conscience. Humanity's first encounter with an intelligent alien species had been nothing short of disastrous, and he knew history would judge him harshly if things didn't improve. Meanwhile, outside the ship, the alien fleet maintained its distance but stayed within view. Their presence was a constant reminder of the precariousness of the situation. Jason monitored their movements closely, noting how they seemed to be observing the Vanguard rather than retreating entirely. It was as if they were waiting. For what? He couldn't say. Hours later, Laura approached Alex on the bridge. She held a datapad in her hands, her expression hopeful but cautious. "I think I've got something," she said, handing him the device. Alex scanned the contents. The message was simple yet heartfelt, using both text and visuals to convey remorse and a desire for cooperation. At the end, there was an offer. Humanity would share its knowledge of science and technology as a gesture of goodwill. "This is good," Alex said after a moment. "Send it. Let's see if they respond." As the message transmitted into the void, the crew held their breath once more. Minutes passed, then an hour with no reply. Just as doubt began to creep in, Cal's holographic form reappeared on the view screen. Its glowing eyes studied the humans for a long moment before speaking. "Reparations. Accepted. Terms forthcoming." A wave of relief washed over the bridge. Though the road ahead would be challenging, humanity had been given another chance. And this time, Alex vowed, they wouldn't waste it. The crew of the *US Vanguard stared at the view screen as Cal's holographic form faded away. The alien emissary's words, "Terms forthcoming," hung in the air like an unspoken promise. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a start. For the first time since their disastrous encounter, there was a glimmer of hope. Commander Alex Carter exhaled deeply, his shoulders relaxing slightly. "Well," he said, breaking the silence, "we've got our foot in the door. Now we need to make sure we don't lose it." Laura Bennett nodded, her fingers still resting on the edge of her console. "What do you think they'll ask for?" "Their technology is so advanced, they might not even care about what we can offer." "It doesn't matter what they want," Alex replied firmly. "We'll give them whatever it takes to rebuild trust. Humanity's future depends on this." Over the next few hours, the alien fleet remained distant but watchful. The Vanguard's crew worked tirelessly to repair the damage caused by the energy field. Engineers scrambled through the ship's corridors, fixing malfunctioning systems and restoring power. Jason Cole coordinated with his team to assess the full extent of the repairs needed, while Lieutenant Daniel Hayes kept a close eye on the weapons systems, ensuring they stayed offline as promised. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, another message arrived from the Zorathian collective. This time, it came not as a hologram, but as a series of symbols transmitted directly to Laura's console. She immediately began decoding the message, her brow furrowed in concentration. "They're outlining terms," she announced after a few minutes. "They want proof of our sincerity, specifically access to one of our databases. They're asking for information on human history, culture, and technological development." Alex frowned. "Are they trying to learn about us, or are they looking for weaknesses?" "It could be both," Jason suggested cautiously. "But if we refuse, they might see it as a sign of distrust. And if we agree, we risk giving them tools they could use against us," Daniel countered sharply. "We don't know their intentions yet." Alex paced back and forth, weighing the risks. Sharing sensitive data with an unknown species was dangerous, but refusing could undo all the progress they'd made. "We'll comply," he decided finally, "but we'll only provide non-critical information, nothing that could jeopardize Earth's security." Laura quickly compiled a sanitized version of humanity's database, omitting classified military data and other sensitive details. As the transmission was sent, the crew waited anxiously for a response. To their relief, the alien fleet reacted positively. Several smaller ships detached themselves from the main group and approached the Vanguard surrounding it once more, but this time without hostility. "They're extending an invitation," Laura reported, her voice tinged with excitement. "They want us to send a delegation aboard one of their vessels." Alex hesitated. Sending crew members into the heart of an alien ship was risky, especially after everything that had happened. But rejecting the offer would likely ruin any chance of rebuilding trust. "I'll go," he said finally. "No way," Daniel protested. "You're the commander. If something goes wrong, the crew needs you here." "He's right," Jason agreed. "Send someone else, someone who can observe and report back safely." After a brief discussion, Alex chose Laura and Jason to represent humanity. Both were calm under pressure and had skills that could help navigate the situation. Armed with translation devices and recording equipment, they boarded a shuttle and flew toward the nearest alien vessel. As they entered the sleek, organic-looking craft, they were greeted by several Zorathians. Their elongated limbs and glowing eyes made them seem almost ethereal. One of them stepped forward, its melodic tones filling the air. Through the translator, it introduced itself as Vern, a liaison for the collective. "We seek understanding," Vern said simply. "Your actions, reckless but not malicious. We will judge further." For the next several hours, Laura and Jason exchanged knowledge with the Zorathians. They shared stories of Earth's history and culture, while the aliens offered glimpses of their own society, a civilization built on cooperation and harmony. When the delegation returned to the Vanguard they'd brought not only new insights but also a fragile sense of mutual respect. Humanity's first contact with the Zorathians was far from perfect, but it was a beginning, one that held the promise of peace, if handled wisely. Over the next few days, the U.S. Vanguard and the Zorathian fleet worked together to repair the damage caused by their earlier confrontation. The alien ships sent small drones to assist with the Vanguard's repairs, while human engineers marveled at the advanced technology used to mend their damaged systems. It was a cautious collaboration, but it marked the first real step toward cooperation between humanity and the Zorathians. Laura Bennett spent much of her time aboard one of the alien vessels, working closely with Vern, the Zorathian liaison. She found the experience both exhilarating and humbling. The aliens communicated through a combination of melodic tones, gestures, and glowing patterns on their skin, which Laura struggled to fully understand. But Vern was patient, often pausing to clarify meanings or simplify concepts for her. Together, they exchanged knowledge. Human poetry, music, and art were shared alongside Zorathian philosophies of unity and balance. Jason Cole, too, immersed himself in learning from the aliens. He was fascinated by their understanding of quantum mechanics, which far surpassed anything humanity had achieved. They see the universe differently, he explained to Commander Alex Carter during one of their briefings. For them, energy and matter aren't separate. They're part of a single, interconnected system. Alex listened intently, his mind racing with the implications. If humanity could learn even a fraction of what the Zorathians knew, it could revolutionize their own technology. But he also reminded himself that knowledge came with responsibility. We need to be careful, he warned Jason. Just because they're sharing doesn't mean we should take without considering the consequences. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Daniel Hayes remained skeptical. Though he followed orders and kept weapons offline, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Zorathians still posed a threat. They've got us outnumbered and outgunned, he muttered to Alex during a quiet moment on the bridge. What happens if they decide we're more trouble than we're worth? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Alex replied calmly. For now, focus on keeping the peace. That's our priority. Despite Daniel's doubts, progress continued. Small groups of humans and Zorathians began interacting regularly under strict supervision. Some crew members learned basic phrases in the alien language, while others exchanged gifts, simple items like tools, books, or pieces of art. These exchanges planted seeds of trust, though lingering unease remained on both sides. One evening, as the repairs neared completion, Laura returned to the Vanguard with a newfound appreciation for the Zorathians. She joined Alex on the bridge, where he stood gazing at the alien fleet through the viewport. They're not so different from us, she said softly. They value life, knowledge, and connection. We just got off on the wrong foot. Alex nodded thoughtfully. It's easy to fear what we don't understand, but this is proof that we can overcome those fears if we're willing to try. As the days passed, the atmosphere aboard the Vanguard shifted. Tension gave way to curiosity, and fear slowly transformed into hope. Even Daniel admitted, grudgingly, that the Zorathians seemed sincere in their desire for peace. Still doesn't mean I trust them, he added quickly, but his tone lacked its usual edge. Finally, the repairs were complete. The Vanguard's systems were fully operational, and the ship was ready to return home. Cal reappeared on the view screen one last time, its glowing eyes fixed on the human crew. Progress noted. The translation read, "Future contact possible." The message was neither warm nor cold. It was neutral, leaving the door open for further interaction. For Alex and his crew, it was enough. As the Zorathian fleet prepared to depart, Alex addressed his crew over the intercom. This wasn't the first contact we hoped for, but it taught us something important. We have a lot to learn, not just about the universe, but about ourselves. Let's carry that lesson forward. With that, the alien ships vanished into the depths of space, leaving the Vanguard alone once more. Humanity's journey into the stars had only just begun, and though challenges lay ahead, The crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced the unknown and survived. The return of the U.S. Vanguard to Earth was met with a mix of excitement and tension. News of humanity's first contact with an alien species spread quickly, sparking debates across the globe. Governments held emergency meetings, scientists scrambled to analyze the data brought back by the crew, and ordinary people gathered around screens, eager to learn about the mysterious Zorathians. Commander Alex Carter stood before a panel of world leaders in a secure conference room. The air was thick with anticipation as he recounted the events of their encounter. The initial misunderstanding, the conflict, and the fragile truce that followed. "We made mistakes," Alex admitted, his tone steady but sincere. "But we also learned. The Zorathians are advanced, but they're not so different from us. They value peace, cooperation, and respect." Laura Bennett joined him at the podium, sharing insights into the aliens' language and culture. Her descriptions painted a picture of a civilization far older and wiser than humanity's own, a society built on harmony rather than competition. "They see themselves as part of a greater whole," she explained. "Their actions are guided by a deep sense of responsibility to each other and to the universe." Jason Cole presented his findings on Zorathian technology, emphasizing its potential to revolutionize human progress. "If we apply what we've learned responsibly, it could solve some of our biggest challenges: energy shortages, environmental damage, even disease," he said. "But we have to be careful. This isn't just about advancing ourselves. It's about proving we can handle such power wisely." Despite the optimism, skepticism lingered. Some leaders questioned whether the Zorathians could truly be trusted. Others worried that humanity wasn't ready for the responsibilities that came with interacting with a more advanced species. Lieutenant Daniel Hayes voiced similar concerns during interviews, cautioning against rushing into alliances without fully understanding the risks. In response, Alex urged patience and humility. "This isn't just about us," he said. "It's about setting a standard for how humanity approaches the unknown. Fear and arrogance nearly cost us everything out there. If we want to grow as a species, we need to choose wisdom over pride." Over time, the lessons of the Vanguard's mission began to take root. New protocols were established for future encounters with alien life, prioritizing communication, caution, and mutual respect. Laura became a prominent advocate for interstellar diplomacy, giving lectures on the importance of clear and honest dialogue. Jason published papers detailing the scientific breakthroughs inspired by Zorathian technology, while governments worked together to ensure these advancements benefited everyone, not just a select few. For the crew of the Vanguard life slowly returned to normal, or as normal as it could be after such an extraordinary experience. Alex spent quiet evenings reflecting on the vastness of space and humanity's place within it. Laura continued studying the recordings from her time aboard the Zorathian ship, hoping to unlock deeper meanings in their language. Even Daniel softened slightly, though he remained a vocal proponent of preparedness. Months later, telescopes detected faint signals originating from deep space, patterns eerily similar to those sent by the Zorathians. Humanity held its breath, wondering if this was another message or perhaps an invitation. Whatever it was, one thing was certain: the universe had taken notice of Earth, and humanity's journey into the stars was only beginning. As Alex looked up at the night sky, he felt a sense of hope. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with uncertainty and risk. But if humanity approached it with courage and humility, there was no telling how far they could go. For the first time in history, Earth was no longer alone, and that thought, though daunting, was also beautiful.